Call the meeting of the Sewer Authority Midcoastside for Monday, March 25th, 2024 to order. We have a roll call.
Director Clark,
Present.
Director Penrose,
Here.
Director Decker,
Here.
Director Ruddock,
Here.
Director Slater Carter,
Present.
Chair Dine.
Here. Right. Do we have any members of the public who would like to comment on an item that is not on the agenda? Right, I don't see any hands being raised. Shall we move on to the consent agenda? Anyone want to pull anything? Anyone have questions?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? And we have a roll call, please.
Director Clark,
Aye.
Director Penrose,
Aye.
Director Decker,
Aye.
Director Ruddock,
Aye.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Chair Dine.
All right, so moving on to regular business. We could set a record tonight, you know.
I'm hoping. Yeah.
Review and item A, review and adopt the revised bank accounts policy. Can you tell us about this, Kishan?
Yes, the bank accounts policy needed revisions that was discussed at the finance committee meeting in 2 meetings, and has also been reviewed by our general counsel. It's being brought to the board today so that we could get approved and get adopted. Any questions? We are here to answer. Staff is here to answer.
The amendments are not clear in the document. Unless I see the one from 2018,
Okay,
but I don't see anything highlighted or changed.
On
So,
page 2, on checking account, number 1, C1. There is a change. There is a minimum balance of 100,000 and a maximum balance of 750,000 instead of 1 million. That's the only change.
okay.
Yeah.
So you
No.
brought it up to date.
We also added the investment account other to,
yeah, first and foremost, the money market account, we decided not to have the money market account, so that's gone. That's no longer there. That was one of the amendments which we did from our previous policy. And like what Director Decker said, the checking account had a maximum balance of 250,000. So that has been changed to 750,000.
and if,
The minimum balance is retained the same.
Given the size of our bills, that makes sense.
Yes.
and if that proves to be too high or too low, it can be changed. We also added the Lave Camp
Right.
California class account as number 3 under that thing. Which leads me just to my one question, which is, we discussed it briefly in the meeting, and I think it's fine, but do we have any concern that transfers for maintaining the balance require 2 signatures? So we're going to add you as one of the signatories, so we feel like this is not going to be too burdensome.
Yeah, it might be too burdensome because I'm in the process of getting the general manager added as an authorized signatory. So it'll just remain one director. And we are also creating a form which will have authorized by general manager and authorized by director.
Great.
So that will be an internal document and then we can provide it. Okay.
Anyone else have questions or comments on
I'm
this?
glad to see California class was included on this.
Yeah,
As y'all know, I'm on the Harbor District Board, and the difference in interest between California class and LAIF is significant.
so that's one reason we're hoping we can take some of this cash and put
Right,
it in one of
and-
the
and-
very safe, very,
California class is now up to over $1 billion in accounts.
Yeah.
So it's, I think it's proved its stability and its safety. So I'll make a
Any-
motion to accept this.
I'll second.
right? Any further discussion?
I have a question. We still have all of our funds now at LAIF. We don't have it in shifts.
We have not because we're waiting for the policy to be adopted. And since it's getting adopted today, we'll start the process.
Okay, good.
It's a roll call.
Director Clark,
Aye.
Director Penrose,
Hi,
Director Decker,
Aye.
Director Radek,
Aye.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Chair Dye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And can I just stop and have an announcement? I did go by the Princeton Pump Station and there's equipment there.
That's coming up in the manager's report.
Okay, I just,
It's in the picture in the paper.
yes, so that's exciting news. All right, moving on to the investment policy. I guess I didn't ask if anyone from the public wanted to speak on that last item, which we should have done. Did I miss anyone who wanted to speak on the accounts policy? Not seeing anyone. We'll make sure, give you a chance on this one. Next item is the investment policy and guidelines.
Yes, investment policy and guidelines, there's a small typo, I will fix that under item 2B. Federal home loan has been misspelled, we'll take care of that. Now, in continuation of what the bank policy, where we said that investment accounts will now be stretched beyond LAIF to CAMP and CA class account. So we reached out to CAMP and CA class account, and they wanted us to put some verbiage, which is under I and J of the investment policy. Other than that, there are no major changes in the investment policy, which already exists.
I know we had a question at the finance committee meeting as to whether I and J were
Yes.
insured or collateralized, and it's my understanding that they are not.
Yeah, to that, Peter, Jeremy, and myself had discussions, and Peter Medina will brief you guys more about it. Peter, could you please brief them?
Yes. So in the policy, items D, E, F, and G and H are all inherently long and also not backed by the federal government. So those through the California Gov Code require that they be insured and collateralized, as opposed to LAIF, and also so California class as well as CAMP are considered to be highly liquid and do not require that level of security. So
Okay.
they do not follow. So the policy, the way it stands now with highlighting D, E, F, G, and H, that is fine. That does not have to include I or J or also A through C.
Makes sense.
And there was another question of the finance committee about the investment authority will be vested with the treasurer or his or her designee.
Yeah,
And that designee, if according to general counsel, it's clearly laid out, it'll be the general manager.
and there'll be some official way that you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when I was treasurer, I had this same questions. Okay. Anyone from the public want to comment? Well, any board comments? I didn't.
I have a question. Section 2, number 1, D. Use of savings and loans is discouraged. Why is that? Because under Roman numeral 3, number 2, it says maximization of rate of return is desirable. And savings and loans in general and credit unions pay more interest and charge lower fees than any bank. And they're insured.
I think in general, now that we have LAIF and we have CAMP, we prefer those institutions rather than going to an individual bank or to a savings and loan.
So the policy earlier had this note, so we did not make any new addition to it.
Maybe it's a reference to the past
Yeah.
when they were very insecure and before things got updated. I still think it should stay there just because there's California class and it has low fees and higher return, and it's more secure than most of the little guys.
Well, this is specifically certificates of deposit. It's specified only the 50 largest FDIC insured US banks. Big banks fail too.
I think it's hard to do due diligence on a small savings and loan, and it's because this is public money and the amounts can be
You ever try
large.
to get Wells Fargo to tell you what they're doing?
Well,
I think in general, we
Yes.
try to avoid B. Because we now have the option of
I think-
camping class.
I think we have sufficient options here with
Yeah.
A through. I
Let's-
hear you, Matthew, but I don't know.
Let's just kind of keep track and, we can always change it later.
Okay,
I just generally like the idea of supporting credit unions.
yeah, credit unions are, are even better than savings and loans, and they also have insurance.
And they circulate money in the local community.
That's right.
Well, we could check and see if other agencies do that. So any further discussion on this? Any members of the public want to speak to that? To this policy? Could we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Accept the revised investment policy guidelines.
Second,
Roll call.
Director Clark,
Aye.
Director Penrose,
Hi,
Director Decker,
Aye.
Director Roddick,
aye.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Chair Dye.
Aye. Great.
Thank you.
Zoom. So now general manager's report.
Yeah, so the detailed monthly report is in your packet. Staff is here to answer any questions, but prior to that, I just wanted to give you some additional, which is not in the report. One is the status of projects. The Princeton Pump Station, the contractor has mobilized, moved in today. They started work and started digging in. Moved all of the heavy equipment into the pump station. He's planning on getting the package pump very soon, so he started digging only for that, so that he can put that in the pit there. His intention, as of present schedule, is to get the pump station functioning by end of July or sometime in August, is what he's thinking of. And then he'll be completely done by the project probably in September or October. That's the plan as of now, because punch list might go back and forth, but hopefully we'll have it functional in July, August, is what he's indicated. But as the project moves along, I'll bring in more information. Today is the first day, so this is what we have seen.
and our deadline for it was December,
No, our deadline was June 30th.
June 30th,
Yes, so we will not be able to comply with the ERF requirement.
right? Have we talked to ERF about that?
Yes. I've
How-
verbally notified them.
We
And
can discuss.
do they
it
have
in
any
closed session.
response or,
Not yet.
okay,
Will the labs that are being used by Surfrider and so forth for water quality testing, are they? That area is not gonna be
That-
impacted, is it? No, that should continue, right? Anyone have
The,
questions?
the other one is, the other project is the force main, the Montera force main, so there's no progress on that. We are required to complete the design by December 31st, 2024. And there's no progress, we have not started that project, so we will definitely not be in compliance with the ERF requirement as of now. And I believe Jeremy is also informed that to ERF.
Catherine,
That's correct.
There was, Kishan, you just used the word Montero Force Main. There was an article in the review which also used Montero Force Main. It is the SAM Force Main in Montero. And it leads to some confusion about which agency is in charge of that force main.
Okay.
But it is the SAM Force Main that is in Montero, and I think we need to be very, very, very clear about it. I'm thinking about even sending a note to the paper saying, just for accuracy. And sending them the map to show. Or suggesting they get in touch with you and look at the map. To see what it is, because it's critical for the transparency to correctly identify things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll ensure that we call it the SAM's force main located in Montero in future.
Please,
It's just
Yeah.
a habit that we end up saying Montero force main.
it's a. Things went awry. It was fine to use shorthand, but then language has meaning, and in this instance, the meaning has been changed from the original definition by shorthand and then brought into court.
Then the other project, which is just about started, is the digester cleaning. We had brought it to the board a couple of months back and we got an approval for it. So we were able to finally get a time slot from the contractor to do the digester cleaning. That's why we see the trailers outside, and we have a press which has already come in today. So during this week, we're going to start the digester cleaning for the second digester. The first digester was probably cleaned in 2020. And this is the second digester which is being cleaned. We are required to clean the digester every 7 to 10 years is what was advised. So this is up for cleaning. That's another project which is going on. And one last thing which I wanted to also inform was we are in coordination with One Shoreline requesting the Army Corps of Engineers to do a feasibility study of a project to make the treatment of wastewater along this coast resilient to the impacts of climate change. So it's a feasibility study. So we've got support letters from Half Moon Bay and from Chair, and One Shoreline is working towards getting us getting them the grant so that Army Corps of Engineers can do the feasibility study.
My
So,
apology, can I just say, my apologies that I didn't ask that the letter be sent to all the board members when I signed it.
okay. So One Shoreline Board met this afternoon at 4 o'clock. And we did vote to authorize the general manager to send a letter of support from the One Shoreline Board. So that will accompany, letters from Sam and also the city of Half Moon Bay. And basically what we're asking the federal government to do is to budget funds for the Corps to do a study of whether, excuse me, I've been hoarse for a couple days. There is an economic benefit, federal economic benefit to fund a feasibility study of funding one or more projects related to SAM. And the way it's worded is very broad, so that potentially it could look at alternatives to the current location. But it's one stone we felt needed to be, overturned, federal funding, because of the great expense of armoring ourselves against sea level rise and potentially having to relocate, God forbid, but they have the scope to actually look at, all alternatives to help us out here, so.
So what is the feasibility study gonna look at exactly?
Well, it's going to look at, is there a role for the federal government to invest funding to make the sewer treatment plant more climate resilient?
Okay,
So, the Midcoast has experience with that, with
Yeah.
the dredging program and everything. There is, anymore, one of the primary filters is, does a utility serve underserved populations? And of course, we serve Moonridge, the low-income senior housing. There's a couple of very low and low-income projects in the works. So that is in our favor. And it's already on the, in the inbox of Senator Butler, who is leading the appropriations for the Army Corps of Engineers. And we recently entered into a contract with a very powerful federal lobbyist who specializes in Army Corps and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and NOAA, with great connections to the actual agency, bureaucracy, as well as the legislators who have to make the decisions to fund. So, we're hopeful here, and Congressman Mullen and Congresswoman Anna Eshoo have already submitted support letters. The county is going to support one. So we're off and running on that.
great.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catherine,
Yeah. So the city of Half Moon Bay is involved, but neither Montera nor Granada were informed of this. I think Sam is on shortfall on that. I think everyone needs to be informed. And we need a complete package sent to each of the boards. We're a team here. We're not just Half Moon Bay.
This was a last minute thing, unfortunately. It was a fire
Unfortunately,
drill. Yeah.
the internet works. And another correction, the dredging in the harbor has nothing to do with the Army Corps of Engineers. It's one of the problems caused by the solution
Well, I'm
of the
talking
Army
about
Corps.
years ago,
And
when the whole discussion was happening.
it is one of the solutions. The Army Corps of Engineers did not look at what was going to happen to the tides and how the highway was going to be eventually eaten out by the change in the flow of the ocean. And now the local district has to pick up the millions and millions of dollars to correct this. And
Well, their
whatever,
economic feasibility study, I don't know why, but it showed no, economic federal interest, which baffles me and many other people. So
well,
that was a.
I
an
will
issue.
stop
Yeah.
talking since I was interrupted. Thank you.
Well, I think the principle is good, that in the future, where there's something like that, and again, I'm sorry, I probably should have said, because I stopped and really read it pretty thorough, thought about it. I didn't just sign it. And probably should have gone to everyone to review. But I think it's good. It sounds like it's just a feasibility study, to see if there's a federal involvement. I mean, that's not committing us to anything except some additional studies, so.
My
Seems like a
concern
valuable
is
thing.
not with the study, it's with the involvement of all the members
I
of
agree.
SAM.
I know, yes, I agree. Your point is very good.
Now that you were talking about projects, what's happening to the plant generator? That was commented on as being very slow in the process, the one that we have already approved.
Oh, the plant generator, the replacement of the plant generator. We are waiting until April, May, when a decision is taken by the Cal State or by FEMA, whether we are getting FEMA funding for moving the electrical building. So I don't want to work on award the job for a generator to be moved for a new generator, which will be in the same location. And then we get a FEMA grant to move the electrical building from there to here. So we are getting all the codes and keeping things ready. So once we know in the month of April or May whether we're getting the grant or not, we'll work on that and then go further.
All right, anything further on the manager's report? Attorney's report.
Yes, thank you, board members. Just really quick, I was going to tell you about a recent Supreme Court case that just came out. It was actually unanimous, which doesn't happen that much these days. And it deals with board members' social media accounts. I don't know how many of you have social media accounts, personal social media accounts, but the Supreme Court basically said that if you're not authorized by the public agency that you serve to be speaking on behalf of the agency on your own page, then you have the ability as a board member to remove, if someone's harassing you, if someone is posting improper things on your own page that you control in your personal capacity, you have the ability to remove those, which was there were two cases, one out of California in Poway and one out of Michigan. So the court resolved that. The test isn't as clear as folks might like, but the bottom line is there is greater autonomy and flexibility for individual board members to be able to remove things from their own personal social media, and that the fact you put it on social media doesn't somehow transform it into a public forum. Now, there's always exceptions. But anyway, it's an interesting case that came up, and if the board would like, I can see if I can get an update that one of my partners has circulated, and I can share with the board, and it's not crystal clear, but it's a lot clearer than it was, and hopefully it'll be useful to you going forward.
That'd be fine.
Mhm.
All right, anything further? Any
Nope,
questions?
that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Director's reports.
I made the one that I had, so.
Okay. Topics for future board consideration. And then anything there? No, and so we will convene in closed session.
Actually, I don't need a closed session if Kishan doesn't.
Neither
Okay,
do I need.
great. So no
Oh,
closed
we can
session tonight.
adjourn
So the meeting is.
7:30.
Yes,
Well done, Barbara.
the record.
Yeah.
Keep it up. I like it.
Thank you.
We had a GCSD meeting like that the other day too. It was less than an hour, so.